working on a black knight, won't start a game. So the game won't start if it can't find 3 balls in the trough, or maybe a ball locked up here, because the balls do lock up there and not kick out. But the first thing you do is remove all the balls, make sure all the drop targets are up, center button down, hit advance, and we're going to put it into switch test. Sound, lights, coils. This is switch test. Now look at these numbers. 3, 15, 7. They're all 8 numbers apart, meaning that it is one row or column that has a problem. So the big question is it on the board or is it on the playfield? So this is the CPU board, the driver board. This is the switch matrix section. The PIA, this long chip here, part of it, and then these 4 TTL chips. So if I want to know if it's the board or the playfield, all I do is remove the switch matrix connector and look, it went away. We have no switches showing. Now what does that mean? That means that the problem is not on the board. It is somewhere on the playfield. So if I plug this back in, you can see how the noise starts up again and the switches are dancing. So if I go to the manual and I look at 7, 15, 23, 31, 39, none of these because those aren't used, it's going to be one of these switches that's causing us a problem. So let's take a look at these underneath the playfield. So there's only 5 switches I had to check, and it turns out it was this one right here, 39. Top right 3 bank drop target.
Okay.
So that's this guy right here.
Yeah.
And the wire,
Yeah.
that was me. The wire was somehow crossed and shorting the whole row.
Wow, okay.
So now I have that off.
Yeah.
We got everything plugged in, and you can see no error. And if I close a switch, you see it just reports that one switch, not the 47 other switches, like this one, you know, at any of them. So it was just something very, very benign. All right, let's fire her up. See? Ball in the shooter lane. You know, so works. Let's lock some balls up here. I always like to stress test black knights by locking all the balls. It's the best way to get the game stress test. But you see there, you've got another problem.
Yeah.
See, so you got the speech. You kick the ball out, but what happened to your speech? Yeah, so we got something else going on here. More switch problems. Watch when I lower the pop bumper. Instead of getting one switch, I'm getting a bunch, all multiples of 8 again. So what was that in the row that was 12? Yep, 4 and 12. So then we got to go back to our little book. This row, right coin switch, everything up to here. We need to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 switches. So if I trigger all the switches, here's the right coin switch, there's 4. Notice it's not repeating. Right out lane, not repeating. Left rollover, not repeating. But as soon as I hit the pop bumper, that's where we have all the problems. So this problem I do think is a board problem when I press down and get all the multiple. And the best way to tell that is to take these connectors off. This is the switch matrix connectors. Take both of these off. And my solder wrapped here on the row, any row, it doesn't matter. And then when I put this on the red with the black line, am I getting multiple playfield closures?
Yep, 17, 9, 1.
Okay, so that's the line that we think is bad. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the adjacent one next to it. And now what do we get? Just one switch closure?
25 the whole time.
Just 25. So that's how you test it and know that we have a problem in the switch matrix. What we found is that if we depressed the pop bumper, anything with a green and black wire on the switch matrix connector, closed in that entire row. So anything green and black, or is it column? And I'm sorry, column. Green and black right here, this column. So what I did is I removed these connectors and then just jumped from this pin right here, which is the green and black, to one of the rows, and sure enough it did the repeat thing. It shouldn't do the repeat, it should only give me one switch closure. So then what I did is I took my meter and put on diode setting, and if you follow this, you see it right here's the pin we want. It goes off to this resistor here, or I'm sorry, this resistor here, and then follows over and comes over to this pin here. And look, when I put it on there, I get a dead short. I shouldn't get a dead short. If I compare it to this one, look, I get between 0.4 and 0.6. But here, I get a dead short. So this chip in the switch matrix is indeed bad. And this is a 7406. So I'll put a new one in. So I have our new chip in. It's a 7406. Put a socket in. And now when I close the pop bumper, look, we just get one switch closure. We don't get 8 different ones. And that's what we're shooting for. Okay, now let's try it again. Let's lock balls. That's always the way to test Black Knights, is just lock all the balls up in the upper trough. That's the way I like to do it. If you get a multi-ball going without any problems, that usually shows that everything's working. Switch matrix, sound, coils, the whole thing. I mean, this is the most brutal part of this game is that, you know, and you can just test all the other stuff and it's all working now. Reset the drop targets, they come up. Magna save, see, it works. Come over here, probably get this Magna save, it works. So we now got our working Black Knight.